Good evening and welcome to another round of the House of Esports F1 2022 League. This is the Pro-Am round 5 and we will be watching them race around the Silverstone circuit. I mentioned that we expected a wet race last night and that just didn't materialize. It has appeared tonight. So the Pro-Am guys are going to be running around in the rain at Silverstone. It does look like it's intermediate conditions all the way through to what I can see. But we'll see how the guys deal with that going forward. Please let me know if there are any issues with the audio, because I have... sorry, I'm just checking who needs invites. Yeah, I've changed a whole bunch of things, and I've got something coming just now when we switch over to the live screens. Yeah, so I'm just testing a couple of things out, testing with just where things are placed. So if the audio is a little quiet or loud or whatever it is, please let me know and I will try and adjust it and fix it and sort it out and all the rest of those good things. But yeah, let's get to it. The guys are starting to go out on this dreary British day. No Reason looks like he's the first person out in the Aston Martin, and we'll head across to the live scenes right away. Alrighty, so no, not actually a full wet race. It is intermediate, but yeah, the race itself will be intermediate all the way through. It does look like it, at least until half an hour. And there we go. The game sound should be up. So yeah, again, please let me know if any of the sound balance is off. I am running things in a slightly different way. So you can hear how easily No Reason is taking it in the Aston Martin down the hangar straight, just to try and avoid any sort of spins or anything like that. Obviously, it's quite easy to spin around this track, or even in the dry and in the wet, it's even more difficult. We saw Max Verstappen doing a full 360 at that corner that No Reason just came out. I don't think it was last year. I think it may have been the year before. But yeah, it is incredibly easy to spin around this track, so I'm sure we'll see a couple of spins before the end of the session. No Reason crosses the line and heads down towards turn 1. And turn 1, 2, and 3 are basically taken at full pace, or turns 1 and 2 at least are, and then you brake for the first time really into the third corner. Obviously in the wet it's slightly different. This corner is incredibly difficult to get right. You have to get right out to the right hand side to open up the corner of 4, and then you accelerate all the way through 4, and that is an invalidation by No Reason. So already an invalidation there, and that is just the nature of the circuit. It is incredibly easy to invalidate in a whole number of places. I'm just trying to see who that Mercedes is. The Mercedes is SF1 Phantom. Obviously we've seen how quick he is, so looking forward to seeing what he can do. Let's see how he does as he comes through into the final corners, Vale and Club. Sorry, just opening up my track map quickly so that I can have it on hand. And there we go. Good evening, Porty. Welcome to the chat. And yeah, at the end of quali, at the beginning of the race, I will. Yeah, basically, I've set up an old phone as a webcam, so we'll see how that goes. I'll do that at the beginning of the race. Flat around here, not quite the case, as it is going to be an intermediate race all the way through. But yeah, SAF1 Phantom is doing pretty much a very good run at the moment. Kill switch, need an invite. I'll send through shortly. Porty, I like that may be the way you do it, but we've all seen what ends up happening to you, so I think the other guys are going to be a little bit more careful. So going through cops, SF1 still keeping the car on the track. Venom, the first person on the board with 139.369. Our quali times from tier 1. Our quality times from tier 1, I think we're 127 or somewhere around there, 127, 128. Potty, yes, I was about to say full send, and is that into a wall? But you just confirmed it there, so it beat me to my own joke. How sad. Killswitch left the session again. Let's hope he can get in once again. We are going to be introducing a limit to the number of times people can be re-invited from next session, because we did have a couple of bad glitches pop up in the, I think it was the pro session where the bad glitches did pop up. So we're going to be introducing a limit to the number of times a person can be re-invited before they have to retire from the event. But SF1 Phantom going to the top of the times of 1:37.6 right off the bat. So incredible lap there, 2 seconds up from anyone else. Oh yeah, no, it's terrible. Like it didn't desync, so that was a nice thing. It didn't desync or anything like that. So that was obviously a good thing to see. But we did have, or at least it was reported, and I'm saying it was reported because you can probably guess who reported it with me saying that. But it was reported by one of the racers that apparently he couldn't see his penalties rocking up, and so he managed to get a third penalty without realizing that there was a penalty. Admire, your garage is glitched. What do you mean it's glitched? What happened? Oh, right, one of those. If you leave the lobby and then come back in, then in theory that will unglitch the garage, if I recall correctly. So drop out the lobby, let me know as soon as you've restarted your game, and then I will invite you back in. So SF1 Phantom going even faster now. Oh, it's your teammate who's glitched? What do you mean? Who is your teammate? Italian. Italian's out on track. So it is just you that's glitched, I think. So yeah, as I said, restart your game and then try again, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, Bencro was on a lap. It looks like his lap is still good. So coming through to the final couple of corners, Vale and then Club. And goes around Club. Looks like he's just hanging on to the car, not putting full power, but it sound massive snap on the exit there. But a good lap, a 1:39.0, and that puts up into second place. So Bencro showing he's got some pace in that Red Bull around this track. Admire, I will send you another invite. Yeah, if this doesn't work, restart your entire game. But we'll try just with a quick one. Admire, there we go. Invite sent, so let's see how that goes. No reason is coming through for another lap. At this point, I'm sure he's run a whole bunch of laps, so he might be doing the proper F1 go out there and just keep circulating until the end of the session style quali with the intermediate tires. Obviously, the intermediate tires last a fair amount longer than other tires when it comes to just circulating and circulating and circulating, and you can't push them as far as you'd normally push a slick tire. So there is that as well, and that could be part of the reason why we see no reason still going out. He's invalidated a couple of laps, now has a 1:43.380 on the board, but I think he is actually going for another hot lap. It looks like he's deployed a whole bunch of ERS in this particular lap. Just getting rid of a whole bunch of notifications so I can see what's actually going on. Okay, so no reason coming into Maggots and Beckett's and going through there. No, just think I'd like to. Yeah, no, absolutely. That is exactly the thing. The tires do get better and better. They do get warmer and warmer. They clear the track a little bit more and more. And so the intermediate tires and the wet tires do actually get stronger and faster through the session, but you have to be out there running for them to actually clear the water. And as the water clears, obviously they get better. Then at the end of the session, you hop into the pits, put on your fresh set, and then you can do a cracker of a lap as well. It takes a couple of laps to get them up to temperature, as No Reason goes up into 7th position. Admire is on an outlap, so let's actually follow him around when he gets to the end of his outlap. At the very least, it's for the first half an hour. It does look like the rain will be stopping towards the end of the race. So I've got 71% at 5 minutes. Ooh, that looked like a snap, but it wasn't, maybe. Maybe a little bit of lag there. But yeah, I've got 71% at the beginning of the race, and at half an hour that's down to 44%. So there's a good chance that it does dry up towards the end of the race. Mixed conditions races are always fun to watch, to see who goes for a wet setup and tries to take the gamble that it's going to be wet all the way through the meaningful running. Or who goes for a dry setup and tries to make some good laps at the end. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, I don't feel like the game actually really has much of a difference between dry setups and wet setups in this game. I don't know if it's maybe because of the ground effect cars that they work a little bit better in the wet, or just because the game is trash. But yeah, it's one of those things. I don't feel too much of a difference between dry and wet setups anymore. And I don't know if you guys had felt that as well. Obviously, in the chat, you can let me know if you have seen any difference between the dry and wet setups, and especially in the intermediate conditions. I know in wet conditions it can be a little different, but yeah. You mean in the setups? Have you actually found that, or just in general in the previous games? Or what ride height do you ride on your setup? Just out of interest. Maybe I'm just too slow to actually feel the difference. Yeah, I imagine if you're running a ridiculously low setup, you'll probably feel the standing water. But like honestly, again, I might. Oh, invalidation there by Admire. Um, uh, yeah, no, I think maybe I'm just. I do know that I tend to be very nervous on the throttle, because of the rear end. I struggle so much with the rear end with these cars, and so I do tend to be very cautious on the on traction. And I wonder if that's maybe why I'm not, why I don't really feel the differences, just because I am as cautious as I am on those on the throttle, and just don't push it nearly as hard as I'm sure you guys do. Um, but yeah, no, like again, the way I felt it, yeah. You see, the problem is if I do full send or even attempt to full send, I end up full sending in the wrong direction. It's not even into a wall. It's down. Ooh, speaking of into a wall, that was incredible timing. Can someone please clip that? um, uh, Terrible luck for Admire. I'm sorry, bud, but yeah, that was interesting timing, I must say. No. Um, on the bright side, I wasn't specifically talking about Admire, so it wasn't quite the commentator's curse, but talking about going into a wall, and there we have it. So yeah, if someone can please clip that, that would be absolutely great. Kaifu, just give me a shout. I'll have to have a chat to you over Discord. So drop me a message on Discord, and yeah, we can definitely chat about it. You can definitely join me for co-casting. Make sure that it's all up and running. And you are part of the amateur tier, aren't you? At the moment, at least. I might boot you out at some point. But I think we could definitely get you casting on the Tuesday sessions to begin with, because obviously I race in those. And if we do get you up into one of the other tiers, then yeah, you're welcome to cast that one while I'm busy racing. You're fast. You're fast enough to be in one of the other tiers, and there are seats open now. So yeah. Well, let's see how you do, Admire. I'm sure we'll see you climb up the field, at least a few, at least a few rungs. But okay, I'll twitch it afterwards. We'll make a note of it. Just someone remind me after the stream is done, just to what's the word? Clip that one, and I'll go back and clip it quickly. But because that was I'd love to see a compilation of all the commentators' curses that I've had. 40 minutes somewhere. Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll keep an eye on it, and then just yeah, just remind me. I'm sure we'll see it in the chat as well, though. So yeah. Yeah, I know. I'd like it happens so often. It's one of those things where it's like, no, surely it doesn't have that happen that often. And then I started commentating, and it's incredible. It's just ridiculous how often it actually happens. And I mean, we see it in real life, and it's like, okay, cool, like once or twice, and obviously they don't race as much as we do. But I mean, it's crazy. It's scary to a large extent. Um, Honestly, the worst is still that one for Ladmine. That Ladmine clip. That'll forever. No, Putty. That Ladmine clip takes it. You have to admit. Kaifu, what time does your load shedding actually end tonight? Does it end like soon, or is it from 8 o'clock? I'll see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure I will be able to post it into here, and I think it is on my main channel. So let me go see if I can find it quickly. So Elf currently coming round. It looks like he has backed out of it. It looks like we've got most people having completed their laps. It looks like Italian Legend having to sprint around the track to get to the start-finish line on an outlap at the moment, apparently. So we'll see what happens there. SF1 Phantom out in front with a 135.7. Venom Bortus in second. Destroyer, Venom, and Nico are top 5. Bencro, Peter Nell, Farah, Italian Legend, and Elf are top 10. Elf doing really well in that Haas. If he is running without a line, that's incredibly well. Chicken Wing, Gokes, No Reason, Killswitch, and Admire, the top 15. Admire with no time on the board after that little bit of a curse. So yeah, quality session coming to an end, and so let's see if that works. And it looks like it is working at least a little bit, so please let me know if there are any problems with the camera. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, Kaifu, we'll pop you into Pro-Am next time if you are available. And then, yeah, we can go from there. Venom invite is going now. So, yeah. By the way, chat is over here. So if I'm staring down that way, it's because I am reading chat. So Venant is still on a... no, he has backed out of that lap as he invalidated. SF1 Phantom looks like he's coming into the pits. Destroyer does appear to be on a... No, he doesn't appear to be on a lap. His ERS is not burning. And Alpha's coming into the pit. So yeah, that is the standings. SF1 Phantom, Venom Bortus, Nico B, Destroyer, and Bankro top 5. Venom, Farah, Peter Null, Italian Legend, and Elf top 10, and then Chicken Wing, Gokes, No Reason, Killswitch, and Admire the top 15. That is such a creepy freaking emote. I really, yeah. Yeah, China's an interesting track, I must say. I quite enjoy the China track. And yeah, I just need to really get to actually practicing at the moment. I just haven't had much. Yes, you can see my reactions. I haven't had much time as far as far as practice is concerned. So yeah, hopefully I do get some decent practice in. By the way, that example of the commentator's curse has been posted into the chat. So yeah, there we have our quali standings. Just taking a quick screenshot of that, just in case things don't log properly in the software. And then just having a look. It doesn't look like too many people have used too many tires, so that's good to see. We should have some deep racing. And just log of that. Not too much to keep an eye on. Nico losing two 2 laps to that one corner. That's unfortunate, but yeah, pretty normal to be honest. Alrighty, so the lobby is loading up, and let's see how the guys do. Wet starts are always quite interesting. It's the only type of start where I ever have any sort of pace because everyone is being cautious on the throttle. And so, yeah, it's always interesting to watch how a wet start goes. You get people who are normally not so good at starting, getting quite nicely up into the field, and all sorts of chaos ensues, especially at this track. The first corner is taken theoretically at full pace, but at the beginning of the session, obviously with everyone around you, do have to back off a little bit, and a lot of people just don't back off, and we have all sorts of chaos going on. So I'm going to go and find someone who should have a good view of the chaos, and we'll ride. Should we ride on board? I think we'll ride on board with whoever we pick, just to see how things go. So 5 red lights, and we've got one person who dropped out and is going to be AI. That is Peter Nell, and you can see such a slow getaway, and people now starting to get moving, and an AlphaTauri moving very slowly there. That is Ferret just keeping out of the first corner. No reason going very deep into the first corner. We do have everyone still pointing the right direction, so that's quite a good start so far. Everyone coming through. Ooh, that looked like a snap of oversteer for Chicken Wing, but Chicken Wing's actually made up a whole bunch of positions up into 7th position. Nico B taking to the runoff. Everyone's struggling a little bit with traction, but at the moment, not too much contact. Nico B going off there. I think Gokes is also having a little bit of a problem, and some lag hitting over there, and Nico had to back out of it and get off the racing line. Kaifu, I basically just stopped being able to practice. At that point, I was practicing probably a good 3 or 4 hours a day. So yeah, I had quite a bit of pace from then. But yeah, I eventually stopped being able to practice. Started focusing a little bit more on my commentary, and it just sort of went from there. And at the moment, I'm starting to practice a little bit more. I'm getting a couple of hours, but racing without the racing line, it has been quite difficult. So yeah, Peter Nell still out in front. Obviously, that is an AI, and that won't last for all too long. Actually, it might last a little while because of the AI being dominant in the rain. So let's just go and try and fix that quickly. So invite sent to Peter Nell. SF1 Phantom currently in second, Bankro in third, Venant in fourth, losing a couple of positions. Let's actually see position changes. Admire 9 places up already. That is a tour de force like we've never seen. I see a question, what happens if you win any of the leagues? You mean these leagues? Or, oh, Chicken Wing has lost a whole bunch of positions, possibly a spin there, did miss that, whatever actually happened there. Alf letting a couple of people through. Alf obviously is a reserve, so he will let people through if there are people following close behind him. But yeah, Nico B losing 10 positions off the start, and that was really not a great one for him. But on the other hand, Admire up in 10th, 10 places up from where he started. So great start by Admire as we see him throw that Ferrari into the left-hander of Village. I think that is. Yeah, so at the moment, theoretically, Tier 1 has a rig. So from what I understand, it's a seat and a mounting rig thing for first place. I think there's a couple of £1,000 for second place, and I can't remember what is there for third. And then the Pro-Am and Amateur tiers have trophies, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I'm not too fussed about that side of things. Yeah, that's very much more Smurf's side of things. I don't see him in chat this evening. So yeah, but Chat to Smurf, he does know what all the prizes are, and Peter Null rejoining, so we'll see if he has the sort of pace that his AI has shown so far. But yeah, that is what we've got as far as prizes are concerned, so far as I can remember. And as I said, Smurf has more details there. Chicken Wing, definitely struggling on the track in the wet. He is spinning through Maggots and Beckets. I don't know if he's maybe got some tire issues. Let's go have a look. No, his tires aren't overheating or anything like that. We'll see how he goes as he comes through this corner. Okay, snap of oversteer there, so possibly running a dry setup and possibly just with a little bit too much power going to the rear tires for the setup that he's got. But yeah, definitely not having a great time there. Venom and Italian Legend going side by side through Village. So, no, not Village, Brooklands, I'm sorry, into Luffield. So Venom and Italian Legend fighting it out there. Italian Legend has lost about 3 seconds from his teammate Admire, just where we saw them just now. Venom backs out a little bit, going down towards Cops. And let's see what he can do there. Gets really up close and personal with that Ferrari's gearbox. Looks to the inside of Maggots and Beckett's, decides against it. Not a great passing opportunity there, so I will wait until the end of the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel complex, and then onto the Hanger Straight. He'll probably drop his ERS. There it is. And now we'll start chasing down Italian Legend, but Italian Legend is using just as much ERS to try and block that. Funny enough, like even with that little bit of a burn of ERS, they both are still, I'm pretty sure, positive ERS in this lap itself. So yeah, that's like how little you actually use the ERS in a wet race. I'm just checking what's going on in the chat. Yeah, Peter Null did leave again. I'll send him another invite very shortly. Venom currently on. We have a Red Bull spinning. That is Bancro. Not something we it is something we see fairly often. Bancro does have issues with rear traction on a number of tracks, and in the wet I'm not surprised to see him spinning, but at the same time he did have a lot of pace. That looked like a little bit of a squeeze by Italian Legend, and you can see Bancro having to take to the runoff there and try and get back onto the track. So I'm sure that will be investigated after the race. Italian Legend definitely pushing the Red Bull off the track there. It was entitled to space, so a little bit of a naughty move there, but there we have it. Bancro back underway, but has lost a couple of positions from where he was just now. Italian Legend up in 5th position. He has Venom for company once again, going through Maggots and Beckett's right on top of each other. I'm sure Venom is going to get very sick of that Velas logo on the back of the Ferrari. Looks like he's dropping back a little bit to get a better line through Chapel, and now will once again burn his ERS to try and catch up to that Ferrari. And let's see what he can do. Looks to the outside, not enough space on the outside, and once again has to just tuck in behind through Stowe and see what he can do going into Vale and Club. Pulls out, doesn't go for the move into Vale, and will now have to wait once again for the Wellington Straight. So just being a little frustrated by that Ferrari, and it means that Destroyer and Bancro have very much caught up to him as well. Bancro looking at the inside of Destroyer, not a great place to pass through the first corner, especially in the wet. Yes, same assists as in Pro, and yes, I know your opinion on those. Vanant is doing really well. Where is? Oh yes, out in 2nd place, 6 seconds back from SF1 Phantom, but that is not surprising. And okay, this is not a situation where Potty has cursed someone. Vanant did. It looks like Admire just managed to catch up to Vanant and is now past. Yeah, no, I like to be honest. When I was still racing on controller, I actually had all the assists off other than the racing line, and it actually helped so much. And when I went over from that to the wheel, I actually already knew in theory how you had to brake in a straight line and gently lift off the brake and so on. It just became easier to do. So yeah, like if you're up for it, honestly, switch up all the assists. When we stick you into the pro-am tier, maybe when you're still racing around in amateur, you can switch off all the assists and see whether you can actually maybe figure it out. I admire going wide there out of Stowe. Yeah, I admire going deep into Stowe and Vaynant not managing to take advantage of it, unfortunately. So let's focus up a little bit more, and we see Bancro coming together with the back of Italian Legend. I'm sure that will be reported as well. So the two of them taking each other out at different points. Bancro, unfortunately, coming together with the back of Italian Legend. Looked like it may have been a situation where Italian Legend broke a little bit earlier than usual, and Bancro broke at about the same time as he normally would. So no damage to either car, so obviously not a massive shunt, but Italian Legend is likely to be raging after that just because of the fact that he's lost so much time. So an update on the weather. Yeah, as I said, Kaifu, like what I'm doing with this season is actually trying to learn to race without the. Oh, thank you, Puzzle. I very much appreciate the sub or the renewal of your sub. I'm pretty yeah, you have been subbed for 2 months. Thank you so much for the renewal. And let me actually share mine as well, just because. um, does it do anything? No, it doesn't do anything. But yeah, thank you so much for the sub, Puzzle. Very much appreciated. And yeah, the face cam hopefully will be a thing going forward. But yeah, ABS, like, to be honest, I think ABS was one of the things that made me almost faster than turning off traction control and that sort of thing. Just because I learned to brake in a straight line, and when I was braking a straight line, I felt I was braking a little bit harder to begin with, which obviously you're supposed to. You're supposed to brake 100% and then slowly bleed off the brakes, and that's what trail braking is, as Porty pointed out. So yeah, like turning off ABS actually made me a lot faster once I got used to it. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like if you do well, when we do put you into pro-am, which will be uh from that's interesting. Something just pinged. A second thing just pinged. I think it might have been my sub deciding to remember itself. Um, but yeah. Um, what was I saying? Oh yes, trail braking. So yeah, what I was thinking, Kaifu, if once we actually put you into the pro-am category and actually have you officially racing there, which should be from next week, you're welcome to keep racing in amateur and turn off the ABS. See how it goes. I mean, like as long as you don't take anyone else, I'm sure no one will be too fussed. Thank you, Santa Pew, for the sub. Very much appreciated. All Prime subs as well. So cool to see so many other guys with Prime, and absolutely appreciate your subs. And yeah, we'll start adding some more things to the sub tiers and so on. Obviously, at the moment, we've got a couple of little emotes that are sub-specific. SAF1 Phantom going to the top of the times with a 139.340. So finding the rhythm, almost 8 seconds ahead of Admire at this point. Admire is defending from Venant Borges, though, and so that he may be a little bit slower from that, but it is so difficult to pass in these cars in the wet, especially around an old-school circuit like this. It is difficult to pass. So yeah, at the moment, Admire and Van are still fighting it out, and let's see what they do. That Ferrari is definitely jumpy. Admire is racing from Germany, if I remember correctly. Thank you so much, Santa Pew, for the gifted sub. Yeah, that is an absolute yeah. Thank you so much for that. And Hype Train is close apparently, so. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah, so at the moment we have Peter Null dropping down the field. Obviously, that is an AI. He hasn't rejoined, so let me try and send him one more invite, see if he is actually online. For a moment there, I thought we disconnected from EA servers. So, new invite sent, Destroyer right on the back of him. Kill switch not too far away from Destroyer as well. And this is going to, I was going to say this is going to give a whole bunch of people DRS, but that isn't going to happen at this point. Venom and Bencro closing up on each other. Oh, that was Destroyer getting past Peter Nell. Tires aren't going to be doing anything. Tires are all going to be the same. Penalties are really where things are looking a little bit more interesting. We've got a couple of people with 3-second penalties. Not too much to write home about. But yeah, oh yes, I was on a weather update. So, update regarding the weather. We are looking at a drying session in about 20 minutes or so. So at half an hour, it's merely overcast. So will we last that much longer? I think we will. So yeah, we should see a drying session to the end of. And another gifted sub by Santa Q. Thank you so much. I think we do have, yeah, the hype train is one person away. Unfortunately, that is just you have to have different people doing it. Yeah, that, as I said, you have to have different people. There we go. Worm puzzle. Okay, so I think the hype train, you have to have different people doing it. So the people who have already donated and done bits or gifts or subs and things, they don't count towards the hype train because whatever reason. So yeah, that is why the hype train didn't initiate itself. That's really unfortunate. And it definitely shows I need to actually expand on the sub level stuffs. So if you guys have any suggestions for that, what you want to see in the sub, yeah, because Twitch, absolutely, Potty, that is that is literally the case. But yeah, if you guys do want to see more stuff on the sub side of things, if you've got recommendations for whatever, if you want different Venom Burtis with the fastest time of the race so far, and Venom getting a fastest time right after that. So I think this track is getting better and better as they go along. Yeah, this is looking quite good. Venom Burtis on the back of Admire after getting a fastest lap, of Venom taking it away from him, and I think the track is starting to dry out a little bit, even with the rain. But even with the rain, just look, going on board, my telemetry cannot be right. There is no rain there, so at the moment we are seeing the track dry up. There is no rain decal on the car itself, so we should be starting to see a drier race coming very shortly, unless the telemetry is actually accurate. No, telemetry is now saying 10 minutes 10 minutes until dry track, so it's going to be great to see that. That's going to be probably another five laps before we see the first person be brave and try and go onto a soft tire or a medium tire. At this point, I'd say, I reckon we'd probably be looking at a medium tire at best. The soft tire does not last on this track, so medium tire at best. Hard tire might be necessary as we see Venom Burtis go to the outside of the next corner and doesn't quite have the overspeed to get past Admire F1. We've got someone spun in Sector 3. That is, ooh, there is a lot of debris on the track there. And that is interesting. That's let's go back to Admire and Venom. So we see Chicken Wing there. It looks like he smacked into the inside wall and then ended up in the outside wall. That's very interesting. That's a very strange crash. But yeah, as we were saying, it looks like it is going to be drying towards the end of the race. Currently, we do still have... Oh, Chicken Wing has spun again. He doesn't have any front wing, and that is a retirement. That is an on-track retirement as well, so those do get penalized if they get reported. And Peter Nell and Italian Legend fighting it out. A little bit of contact there between the two of them. Not 100% sure what happened. The angle just wasn't right there. No safety car because the car is still moving, which is why I said it's a retirement on track rather than a crash. And those do get penalized if they do get reported. You're not supposed to retire on track because of the risk of a safety car or your stricken car getting in the way of another driver. But it looks like that car... Oh, right. Well, let's be honest. This year's FIA would have delayed the race by like 2 hours until it stopped raining. So, yeah, at this point, we've deviated a long way from what this year's FIA is. Peter Null has left the session once again. Unfortunately, I can't keep re-inviting him. It does cause issues with the lobby, apparently. But SF1 going back to the top of the top of the session, 138. Peter Null should get new internet. That would be nice if it were possible, but I think he is pretty limited with what he can get. So closest battle is currently between Italian Legend and Peter Null's AI, so that's not really counted. Van Portis is still closest on the back of Admire F1. So these two really have been fighting it out for this position. I'm sure Van will be waiting for it to get trying to get back for let's see. Anyway, yeah, that is absolutely true. But yeah, it very much looked like he was on the racing line when he hit retire. So that's the problem. Like if you pull off the track or you're in the wall or something like that, and then you retire, that's fine. But he was very much on the racing line there. So that's something that we would consider. Like if you're beached and you retire on track, that's something else. Like I've had that happen at Brazil. That first long right-hander, if I remember correctly, uphill right-hander, there's actually a lip off the road and onto the grass, and if you stop on that lip, you're stuck. That's it. You're going nowhere. So there are times that you don't have a choice but to retire on track. But hey, Moment, how you doing? But yeah, this was not one of those times. And yeah, Putty, I'm sure you remember it. I'm sure you also... Do you remember racing? Like, I don't know if you were around already, but do you remember Wee Casper? But yeah, anyway, Destroyer is coming up to the back of Bankro as well, and it looks like Killswitch is catching up to the two of them as well. So as we see the track starting to dry up, you can see the dry line starting to form. You can see offline it doesn't look as wet as it was just now as well. I know he was doing Rocket League a lot more full time. I know he did have quite a lot going on with the Rocket League side of things. And I think that's why he stopped racing. It was also a situation where he couldn't afford the new F1 games, so he basically just fell off. But yeah, I remember racing against him. It was that nose of his car was just magnetized to the side pods of my car, and like he literally, I'd be on the other side of a corner and he'd find me. I did never say I was in my 40s. I just said I was older than Madwell. And when I said I was older than Madwell, that was just older than Madwell. I'm pretty sure, assuming he is born in the later half of the year. Yes, no, absolutely. Those custom livery races were actually quite a lot of fun. It's just such a pity. Like, the only reason we don't run the multiplayer cars, and this is something that I really hope that EA fixes in this year's game, but, like, you can't have teams. Why can you not have teams in the multiplayer cars? Why can I not say, okay, myself and... I'll reveal my age shortly, but thank you for the compliment. But yeah, like, can you imagine a proper custom league where you can have your own liveries and you can basically say, okay, cool, myself and Elf are on the same team, and Porty and Admire, for example, and so on and so forth. It would be so great, but of course that's way too far. I mean, the tournament system still doesn't even properly work in this game. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm 35, and that is the case for 2 days short of a month. Yeah, no, Alf is doing pretty well. I don't know if he's running without a line in this race, just with it being wet, and we have a couple of people in the pits. So while I've been talking to you guys, a couple of people going into the pits and putting on new intermediate tires. I think that's a mistake. I'm looking at the tire wear just in general. I'm looking to see if I can see who's got the highest tire wear. 26 and a half, huh? Okay, so the highest tire wear I can see is 54. Yeah, so the highest tire wear I can see is 54. I would not be coming into the pits yet, especially with the rain drying up in the next 5 minutes. Still no rain decals on the cars, so yeah, I think those guys who have pitted onto the intermediate, new intermediate tires are definitely wrong, doing the wrong thing. Yes, I can see temps as well. I see a couple of 80s. That's an 84. By the way, I'm saying this like a couple of seconds after what I see, just so that I can make sure that I'm not giving away people's temperatures and things. There was an 86 over there. So yeah, 86 definitely seems to have been the highest, and I think that is on the car with the highest deg as well. The tires are the temperatures definitely are rising a little bit. They were sitting at about 76 for the most part. Yeah, no, a full simulation league would be incredible with the engine parts. We have that is no reason in the gravel. He does not have damage, so lucky for him. But yeah, like a full simulated league with engine parts and everything. It doesn't even have to be like 20 fully committed drivers. Like we could literally swap them out and have sub drivers and so on as well. Which, I mean, we've seen it work in real life F1 as well. But I mean, that would be incredible. But also, like, I'd love to have a risk of mechanical damage and mechanical failures. Like, obviously, it will suck for whoever gets it, and I'm sure I get it quite often. Elf having a spin there in 13th position, and on brand new fresh tires. So maybe not feeling the tires. Tires obviously not up to temperature there. But yeah, a risk of mechanical failure, like imagine being able to develop the car as well. So starting from a stable platform and everyone develops the car in a different direction. Like I would definitely go for a higher downforce car. Sure, it would be slower down the straights and everything, but I'd have that stability on the rear end that I need. And actually being able to develop the car with more rear end stability, developing the rear wing and so on. And like it would be incredible. But then like I would probably end up neglecting durability and so on. So yeah, like that would be really great, but you'd need team managers for that as well. Yeah, as I said, F1 manager. Yeah, F1 manager, but driving as well. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it would be incredible, but I don't think EA have any sort of interest in creating that sort of thing. Unfortunately, it is unfortunate, but it's one of those things. Like you could possibly do it. Venom has left the session as well now, so let's try and send. Just since we're going to be sending invites anyway, let's try and see. Oh, it is so slow tonight. Peter Null and Venom. Oh, oh, that's not good. I think the lobby just died. The game just crashed. You're freaking kidding me. this is gonna break so many things. Yeah, no, absolutely. They heard me 100%. Okay, if someone in the race can please send me an invite, if you guys can hear me. If someone can please send me an invite in the race. Oh, that's loud. Why is that so loud? EA happened. I think it didn't like me inviting two people at once, and it just decided, nope, gone. Let's see. It's really stupid that you can't join on other people. Okay, I'm just seeing if anyone is around that can re-invite me. And WhatsApp Web is refusing as well. Venom, I got kicked trying to invite you, so great times. Okay, Admire has invited me, so I'm going to join on Admire, and then hopefully I can then invite Venom. Okay, I honestly I don't actually know what happens with the telemetry now. It's reconnected, so I wonder if it will just continue straight from here. We'll find out shortly. And we'll also find out if, all hell has broken loose. Okay, so we're staring at SF1 Phantom. He's still out in front, which is not entirely surprising. Okay, Venom, I'm sending you a new invite shortly. There we go. Okay, so it looks like everything has basically stayed the same, which is well done, EA. You fixed the massive desync when the host migrates. But okay, so hopefully we have a host that is not too broken and so on. Yeah, I think I understand how it works, and I have explained it on stream before. If you are interested in my thoughts on how it works, please let me know, and I'll re-explain it. But yeah, I think I do know how it works, but it's a little bit stupid. But anyway, so Venom Portis is still chasing after Admire. The track is still a little bit wet. The telemetry is saying 5 minutes. It will be dry. So, what are people doing on tires? Okay, so we still got a couple of people out there on their original tires. They'll obviously come in and get rid of those tires. They will have gained a couple of positions based purely on the fact that they haven't pit. So that's quite nice. Yeah, it's a completely dumb way of doing it, especially when, the fact that the host can be kicked without everyone else dropping out as well. Absolutely, I understand. And I think that's why they do it the way that they do, so that you can have that situation where the host migrates. But I mean, it's still, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Destroyer has joined, so Destroyer being dropped out as well. But I think he does have someone on Steam in here. So that might be how he rejoined there. But SF1 Phantom still out in front. Okay, so the rain has 100% stopped. We should see, according to the telemetry, the rain has 100% stopped, even though we are getting rain effects on the camera. And it does look like that track is starting to dry. This is what the track looks like generally when it's about to start drying. Yeah, a league server that technically can't die would be great. I mean, no, you don't have to pit in a wet race, but if the track does dry, these tires are going to start overheating quite badly. The guys can go onto soft tires. It is close enough to the end of the race that we might see someone try for the soft tires, and let's see if Nico is actually doing it. As I said, according to the telemetry, it's dry now. It's not the track itself, but there is no more rain coming, and so the track will only start to dry. And there's the medium tire. Mediums, really? Okay, that's I think that's the wrong choice, but a soft is definitely what I would go for. That looks like a dry pit lane almost. Let's see as he comes. No, there's still a little bit of a wet texture on everything. So it's weird. Like, it should be drying. It should be pretty much dry, but it just isn't. What's the temperature? Can I see the temperature? Oh, not that side. Track temperature is 28 degrees, so it might be that. It might be that the track temperature is not actually hot enough to dry the water quickly enough for that to happen. But Nico B coming out on the mediums. We'll follow him around and see how he actually goes. No reason still struggling on those in that Aston Martin, but Nico looks like he's doing fairly well. No snap there. I don't think he... let's actually go with the telemetry so we can see what he's doing on his throttle. So definitely a little tentative of the throttle. 74 degrees on these tires. Yeah, as Porty has pointed out, like at this point, those intermediates will be burning, and the guys on new intermediates, I can absolutely understand them. There we go, Admire coming out on the softs. I think that is the right choice. Those guys out on... Nope, still wet textures. Those guys out on the old intermediates, those guys are going to be struggling. Their tire temperatures are incredibly high, or their tire wear is incredibly high at the moment. SF on Phantom, I can put it out there now. He's on 76% tire wear, and there he is coming into the pits. Now he is going to go onto those soft tires. Does not get a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So the race here that we're really interested in here is Admire versus Venom. So Admire is 4.4 seconds back at the moment. He is struggling a little bit with traction, and Venom is a little bit quicker than him at the moment. So this is really the race that we're looking at. SF on Phantom and Vaynant are both out front. They are quite far ahead of Killswitch, who's the next person there. Killswitch also has to come into the pits. He has no gap, so he might actually... Whoa, no, that is a spin by Admire, and not a 360, unfortunately. Gets his car pointed the right direction again and gets underway, but he is now going to have Benkro and Destroyer on him on those fresh intermediates. Baynant Burtis is coming out on the soft tires. SF on Phantom out on brand new inters. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is really going to be interesting. SF1 Phantom has already got the inters into the window, so I think he's made an interesting choice, but I think he will be fine, because I think it is going to... it might dry up. I don't think it's drying up as quickly as we expected. Killswitch and Venom. Venom with... intermediate tires that are up to temperature. Killswitch with ancient intermediate tires which are dying. What are we looking at? What was that camera? I swear we were looking at them from the other side of the track. Anyway, Killswitch is currently chasing behind Venom. Oh, and okay, so Killswitch got Venom got past, and while we were looking at the other side of the track. What on earth was that? Okay, EA, well done. Okay, so Killswitch has lost the position. His tires, I can say this now, 77% at the moment, 77.7. So 88 degrees, 89 degrees. So not cooking his tires, but definitely low traction, I'm sure. And there he goes in. EA will kick... Yeah, no, they probably will. I'm fully expecting it. But anyway, so Admire currently in 5th position. Venom Burtis in 4th. Admire could have caught him if it wasn't for that spin. That's really unfortunate. Track is starting to look at that greasy stage. The greasy stage doesn't last too long in this game. Track temperature is still 28 degrees, and air temperature is still 21 degrees. So yeah, not getting too much warmer, but you can definitely see that the wet texture is starting to disappear, and people are starting to take different lines through the corners. Bankro on those intermediate tires, currently 40% worn and 87 degrees. So the intermediates aren't overheating too badly. So that's obviously why we saw the likes of SF on Phantom go onto brand new intermediates rather than the softs. But the soft run is. I don't know why I'm guessing here. I've got. So as soon as SF on Phantom crosses the line for this next lap, I'll be able to see approximate timings. But it looks like the fastest lap at the moment belongs to Destroyer. Why? Why does it like that onboard camera so much? Yeah, Venant isn't making time. I'm actually looking. Okay, so SF1 Phantom's last lap was 136.127. We'll see. Let's have a look at who is coming through soon. Okay, Venant is coming through soon. We'll have a look at what his total lap time is. Venant got a 137. So SF1 Phantom is actually still faster on those intermediate tires, even though it is now dry. That is a dry track. So the track is dry, so we'll see if he starts to struggle here. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it was the right choice to stay on those intermediate tires. I think he would have been faster on the soft tires, to be quite honest. But the DRS is still not enabled from what I can tell. And the red lights on the back of the Mercedes are still flashing. So the rain rules are still applying, at least at the moment. And SF1 Phantom is burning a ton of ERS. I do see that on the temperature. Venant, yes, his tires are absolutely up to temperature now, so we'll see how he does on this next lap. But yeah, SF1 Phantom is burning a ton of ERS. I wonder if that's maybe how he's managing to keep up his time. Venant getting a track limits warning. I think that's through Maggots and Beckett's. Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be a slight cut. But yeah, let's see what SF1 Phantom can do as he comes across the line now. 83 degrees, crosses the line, and a 137.447. So SF1 Phantom is falling off the pace. I think the track is getting drier. His tires are starting to warm up a little bit further. Venant is coming across the line very shortly as well, and crosses the line now. Crosses the line with a 135.776. 2 seconds faster than SF on Phantom. Venom's doing very well though. Venom's last lap was a 135.778. So Venom is actually doing the same times on those intermediates as Venant did on the softs. Admire, let's see what Admire's done. 136.167. It definitely looks like the softs have come into their own, but just a couple of laps too late, I think. And I think this is probably how it's going to end. The field has spread a little bit, and so I think this might be how it's going to end. Obviously, there is a situation. How's Nico doing actually on those that weird tire choice? 136.281. Farah behind him is actually doing quite a bit faster. It's about 0.8 faster than him on that last lap. Yeah, they could absolutely have stayed on those intermediate tires that they were on, but I think the puncture risk was a little too high because both of them were on their original intermediate tires, and I know SF1 Phantom, when he did come in, he was actually very much into puncture territory, and when Venant came in, he was also quite close to a puncture. So yeah, I think they did make the right choice with changing out those tires. But yeah, SF1 Phantom had the gap. Venom, with that undercut, managed to make it work. A little bit of rain on the camera there. That was a little odd. Admire getting a fastest lap of the race. So that's why I would have gone onto the slick tires, is literally, okay, not that I'm fast enough to do that, but if I was someone like Phantom or Venant or Venom or any of those guys, I would definitely have gone onto the soft tires because of the risk of the fastest lap being taken in the final couple of laps. But yeah, that's exactly what's happened. SF1 Phantom might be on a massive push. Yes, he is indeed. I can see how much ERS he's deployed this lap. He's deployed 32% of his ERS already. Destroyer getting the fastest lap of the race now. We've got a McLaren, I think that is Kill Switch, in the first sector, having a little bit of a spin. Kill Switch on the soft tires. SF1 Phantom has burned 42% of his ERS this lap, 6% left as it comes down towards Cops. Towards Stowe rather. DRS is now enabled, so that is the proof that the soft tires were definitely the way to go, and that is a spin by SF1 Phantom. Is Venom close enough to take the position? He is indeed. Venom gets through into first place and will cross the line probably in first, depending on whether he lets SF1 Phantom through or not. He is not letting him through, so that tiny mistake at the end there by Phantom let Venom through. Van Bortus is coming across the line very shortly. Let's see whether he's done enough to get the fastest lap of the race. He has not. Admire now next through the Cops, the village. No, what is it now? I can't remember the corner's name. Club. Through Club corner. Admire does not get the fastest lap either. Then Crow comes through, no, not there. Kill Switch, the next to come across the line. He had that spin earlier on in this lap, so it's not going to be him. Peter Null is an AI destroyer, has the fastest lap of the race at the moment. Does he make it even faster as he comes into the Vale corner? Let's see what he does. Comes through Club, which I think is literally called Club because of the shape of it, and comes across fastest lap of the race once again, 132.636, and inherits 6th position due to a penalty from Killswitch. Nico coming across the line now. Those medium tires not firing up as quickly as he hoped, but I think he did do the right thing going onto mediums and not the soft with when he pitted. Farah comes across the line there in 10th position, and then Italian Legend, the final person across the line in the second Ferrari, 11th position. Gokes, Elf, and No Reason all a lap behind Admire. Why would you say it was a disappointing race? Phantom kept his tires below 90% pretty much constantly. I didn't see him go above 90 degrees. Yes, the entry to the corner is Vale. The actual corner itself is Club, going out onto the start-finish rate. What is actually the normal tire? What is the normal? What is the operating window of the intermediates? Do you know offhand? Yeah, that race didn't dry up as as quickly as we thought, but you did well. You finished what, third? Oh, fourth. Yeah, but that's not a bad run, I would say. 18 laps? What's 18? Oh, right. No. The operating window, as in what temperature should you have them in? I think they're between 70 and 90, but just need someone to confirm. Someone who, is a little bit better with the tires. Right, in that case, yeah, he was definitely over temperature. He was pushing 90 when he spun. I think Venom is pro, so yeah, he will probably drop out. So yeah, realistically that was a third place, but yeah, that was a good run, especially from the back of the field. That first lap of yours was absolutely incredible, Admire, so well done there. And yeah, so we'll see, obviously. See, the difficulty is I can modify the results to make them yeah, no, absolutely. Bankro, absolutely send me the full race replay. That's absolutely fine. Cheers, Worm Puzzle. Enjoy the rest of your evening. It was great to have you in the chat. Thank you to everyone in the chat. I know a couple of people will probably need to go pretty quickly, so thank you so much to everyone in the chat. It was a great pleasure to host you. Thank you to all the guys that subscribed. We really appreciate the support, and yeah, I will at some point I'll modify this screen as well, just to get it to the same sort of thing as the other the other camera screen. But yeah, thank you so much to the racers as well. You guys did did an incredible run, an incredible race. It was great to have you in the race itself. Sorry for the drop. Obviously, we did have that drop mid-session. Hopefully, that doesn't affect the telemetry too badly, but it does look like the telemetry has logged fine. Yes, indeed. So we'll probably have like a lap or two that it missed, but for the most part, it looks like it's still fine. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who joined us. It was an absolute pleasure to host you, and yeah, absolutely, it's one of those things. We will check you next time. Obviously, next week we will be racing around China, the Shanghai International Circuit. Really looking forward to that, to be honest. It is a track that I quite enjoy, but I said that about Singapore, Silverstone as well, and then completely messed that up. But yeah, one of those things. So thank you once again to everyone who joined, and we'll check you next time.